Hello, my single solitary viewer.
This is how we start all the time.
Hello, my single solitary viewer. Floozemaker here, and I'm back on VintageCraft, and I'm here in 700 with Extreme Dummy. This person has built every single thing in here. Every block has been placed personally by Extreme Dummy and or someone else unknowingly doing it for him.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I'm going to take the blame. Yes. You said you wanted a tour of this place, right?
Yeah. Well, we've got something special here at 700. There's a community build going on here, but I need someone who's in the know, who knows what's what, who's who, and what are the most interesting things to see. When we have a server this large, we have some very interesting projects on VintageCraft, and I think we need to showcase a few of them, don't you?
Right, yeah, but I would like if you would step away from my my pet stone, because you're standing on top of him. That's
I'll trigger it. I'm triggering it.
Okay.
Or maybe is that penning it? Yeah. I'm not sure.
I've been kind of working at the docks lately, but I mean, the rest is also all mine.
Yes.
You know. So,
in spirit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In spirit. Mm-hmm. So they have called me the mayor of this quote-unquote city, although I am not actually the owner, so I've kindly rejected, and I kind of failed, so I remain to be the mayor here.
Yeah. I thought you, since you had declined, you had been replaced by a carrot.
They've attempted, yes. There's a carrot in my home, which stays with me very kindly. So I thought I was going to move homes and make a house here, and it accidentally ended up in a boathouse. So yeah.
So this boathouse is actually what you've been building recently.
I've tried, I should say.
It looks like a boathouse to me.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying something new, so yeah. Flooz has kind of helped me also with the design of the woof.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's the first time I see with the cobble outline, and I do think it works. It works better with the cobble outline. So it's always important to try things and see what works, see what doesn't, and keep what works.
The only thing with this area is that we don't really have a town hall yet, and neither do we have a name. So yeah.
The settlement with no name, the nameless city.
Yeah, the city with the lost name. That is us. So we started with this fountain a really long time ago. This is kind of what the center of the area became to be. The person that actually is behind all of this has a house up on this hill here. It probably is the worst house of all of them.
You don't have to say that out loud.
Yeah, you know, he will see it. So this is Simeon's house. I actually do kind of like it.
Yeah, but we are on the lawn, and the sign does say to get off the lawn.
Yeah, well, he should really start on getting a little bit of the lawn going on. I mean, there's little grass here that indicates that this is a lawn, Simeon. So, yeah. So we've got a little bit of a Zen garden here.
Yes, I quite like this. I like the inclusion of vegetables as well as flowers. I like that diversity in there.
Veggies, yes. So this is both from Gemini Panda. So she's been hard at work with this house. I actually do kind of like the bricks in the roof in this one. Honestly,
the brick roof, yeah. Or well, it would be not necessarily bricks, but rather tiles in this case.
Yeah, it looks like tiles, so that's why I kind of like it.
Here I spot a remarkably primitive build. Here, I think someone was going for the very simplistic. Whose house is this?
Do you want to know?
Oh, someone actually liked it on YouTube, so at least there's that. Someone liked it.
It must have been my house.
Oh, oh.
So it is relatively plain, but this is like kind of what I tend to build.
Oh, I meant primitive, as in quality, as in like in the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. And
well, it is slightly overgrowing, so I must kind of address that situation.
You might need string for the vines.
Yeah,
because otherwise they'll never stop growing. But no, I kid around when I say primitive, but it has a fine shape to the roof, which I quite enjoy. It's taking something a fairly simple shape and streamlining it. But that's the strength of the concept here. So I like it. I quite enjoy it.
That's the thing with me. Like, I don't consider myself a very good builder, but lately I've been trying some different things with roofs. So I just tend to come up with an interesting shape of a roof, and really that makes your houses look so much better.
Yep.
Honestly,
a lot of people think of the roof as an afterthought and think that the walls are going to be what's most important, but it's actually the roof is, you could say it's your head. So like it's
pretty important. Yes,
the body is what you do most of the stuff with. So that's you think it's going to be the most useful stuff is going to be the arms and legs and stuff, but technically the head on top of it or the hat you'll be wearing is going to have a huge impact. So it's important to think of your roof when you build.
Yes, definitely.
This is Leather's house.
This is from Leather Earth, yes. I don't think we should spoil it too much as it's relatively new, but I do kind of like the inset on the outside where he's got the stairs going on here.
Yeah.
I really do like this house.
Yes.
Just because of simplicity.
It was very simple, humble house. Yes. I like it.
Yes. I mean, I would say that I would have stairs on the top here, but apart from that, like, I really do love it. I mean, yeah, there's nothing to say. I wouldn't be able to top that, I think.
If you've noticed so far, my single solitary viewer, you can already notice that throughout the builds that we've been visiting, this theme of trying to do these medieval houses, it has been working so far in the sense that there's still, even though everyone does their own builds, everything fits with the theme and it all works together to create a bigger picture of the entire 700 area. Right?
Yeah, so the overall theme is something that I actually thought of, being 500 AD. So the general idea is to just have houses, mostly wood, mostly stone, maybe a little bit of tone of white, as you can see here, for example. Whereas it's, maybe the little plaster stuff that you've got going on in your tower. And we just wanted to have this type of time period because we didn't really want any fortifications. And if so, it must have been like some type of ruin, which actually somebody's already working on.
Well, someone is working on that. Well, now you've mentioned it, so we have to see the beginning of it.
Yeah, well, we should. I have actually not checked that out yet. I really would like to go this way because there is a really, really fancy thing here. It's a windmill. It's a thing. It's
yes.
My words are escaping already. This has been made by Tim Olsen, or Timo, as he would like to be calling himself.
Yes.
I really do like this windmill. And I think
that's normal. You're Dutch,
nice.
So.
Talking about Dutch, behind you is a person called the Failing Dutchman. He just passes us right here. Hello. But he's also Dutch, and he's feeding me chicken. So if you know where the food came from, he has been feeding me. So
Yes, he's been around. He's been around.
He's been around. Yes.
Yeah.
We content creators tend to live off other people. It seems
we're basically parasites, is what it is. Yes.
Yes. I mean, we're kind of like mistletoe, so we're romantic parasites. Right?
Oh, are we?
Because well, I would like to believe that
there isn't all that much kissing going on when I'm around.
So,
but like Cupid, I like shooting people. So.
Right. Yes.
yes.
Yeah. I noticed that. It's the arrows are very hot as well. It seems.
There's a lot of terraforming going on here, and it's not quite finished. So I don't want to. You can tell as the farther we go up that it's not quite finished. But it's once done, it's certainly going to look very.
Yes.
I'm missing the
whimsically.
Words. Yes, definitely. Yes, whimsical.
So where we're standing right now.
Yes.
We're probably going to be expanding the wheat fields to over here and stretch it over slightly over the mountain. Maybe
fields.
have some banks like Joey has got going on over here. So the house that you can see like really far up there in the distance, that's the house from Joey. He's one of the admins here. So we definitely have the admins on board with things here, which is really nice.
Yes, it's good to bribe the admins once in a while.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Bribery will get you as almost as far as flattery will, and when you do both,
yes, we're flattering parasites mostly.
Yes.
That's yeah. So yeah, I mean,
the statue, of course. Yeah, the
so. This is the statue honoring beef, which is something Kelly Jo made. She also made this house over here, which I really like.
Yes.
So, just as a quick example, I mean, in terms of when you want to make a house, right? This house is relatively square, but it has some interest to it because you've got the front porch, which is like only
There's an extruded front porch. Yeah.
And then you've got this thing on the side, which I really kind of like because it just adds an element of interest to it. It's it's a side tower, which is very similar to the idea I implemented on my own build. It's very good, but this one would be more like an observatory overlooking the. I just saw the sign to keep the doors closed, so to keep the chickens prisoners. So there are house chickens here. Yes.
So apparently there are free-range house chickens in there, so we can't go in. But
it's yeah, that's where free-range eggs come from. They're yes.
But what I do like is that you can tell that the house has. Exhibits some traits that are common from old houses that are like given or transmitted from generation to generation, because you can tell that it's not the same architect, or you get the impression that it's not the same architect who built this addition, this annex to the house. It's not the same architect. So I like the fact that it's two different styles that still work and bring. They're two like distinct styles, and you merge them together, and suddenly the house has a lot more personality.
Yeah. So this is really new. I think this build is done.
That's by Explorer D.
Yesterday.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah. She claimed. Well, she technically claimed her plot at the same time I claimed my own. So we arrived at the same time, roughly. Maybe maybe a few hours afterwards, but you know, I had barely begun doing stuff when she came by. There was the issue, of course, of having multiple people claiming the same plot, and that's difficult, but it was settled. So
it was settled. Yeah.
I just want to notice that I've just come on this side of the house, and this part is spectacular.
Where are you? Oh, the rear end is really, really good.
But technically speaking, this part maybe is actually the front, and the rear end is where we were, and I think this is actually the front of the house. Is it? No, it's not. It's the no, it's the front. Yeah, yeah, it's the front.
So, yeah, she has been really hard at work with the
Yes.
terraforming of this area, and I really like these crumbled walls, kind
Yep.
of like
And
retaining
she basically,
walls.
yeah. And I'm just spoilers ahead. I'm going to be doing something very, very similar soon.
Uh-oh.
Myself. I hadn't seen this, but this is exactly what I was going to be doing soon. So it's going to look
Uh-huh.
very, very similar. But it's basically, yeah, that's the next step for my build.
It's yeah, it's gonna look very interesting. I think I would like to do something similar. I just didn't have any project where it would fit yet.
Mm.
So, I mean, certainly at the place where you are building and over here, you've got a little bit of a more challenging slope.
Yes.
I mean, something that I noticed you pointed out in your own video as well is that it's it's always good to just have a little bit of a challenge. So putting something on a slope, it
Yes.
might actually make your house look way better than it is just because you tried it in a
Potentially,
different
or
place.
at the very least, in my opinion, it is going to force you to try some new things to accommodate the different terrain. Because when you go to on a flat place, and you're always building on a flat place, then you tend to kind of just repeat what you've already done before, and you don't
Yeah,
learn new
exactly.
building tricks or don't new building techniques if you don't try new things. So the idea is to basically force yourself to, even though you feel comfortable using certain building techniques, perhaps you want to put yourself in a situation where perhaps you're going to be forced to try and innovate or look for new ideas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I've seen it. So
Justly.
what I like about this house is that it's slightly embedded into the mountain, but not
Yes.
completely. So this person has taken
Mm.
the slope of the mountain kind of to the advantage of the house.
Yes. And it's also, as a as we might not have mentioned during this episode, but it's also a rather small build. And sometimes the making something small but still cute or very nice looking, like actually this, I would say they succeeded to make this small build look charming and nice, and
Yeah,
that's
I
always
mean,
a challenge in itself. Yeah, but it
I think smaller buildings are much harder to make than big buildings. So in that regard, I mean, you're not having a hard time there. So
I
this
do wait. Hold on, I do want to bring attention to the roof here because we have a roof, and by the shape, it looks wooden, but by the shape, I would say this is actually a thatched roof,
yeah,
and it's a it's
the
made with
because
hay
it's
or
rounded.
something. Yes, because of
Yeah,
how it's rounded, and over time, the thatched roofs uh, kind of
they
slump.
yeah they kind of darken. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I see what you're going for.
But it's a small build, but the curvature of the roof just brings things very, very interesting, and that's something
Yeah,
to note as opposed to perhaps always making the same triangle.
but in contrast, I'd have to say that this is probably, uh, well, very big and actually very cute at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm, yeah.
He doesn't want to say it's cute, but I think it is kind of whimsically. It has this little appeal to it where it's, yeah, what would you say? I mean, it certainly states like, this has been a very rich family, and they
Or
have
yeah,
built a lot of stuff to
it's a
like
family
onto the
that's been
building.
here for a long time, obviously,
Yeah,
and
so
they've expanded.
they've been saving money to do these type of things, and
Mm.
they've spent their money wisely by uh, pretty much just building onto the same lot, so they didn't have to pay for another lot somewhere.
Exactly.
Honestly, if I would live in that day and age, I would probably have done the same thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, most like in the medieval period, what people had was family, and so it was important to leave everything you had to your descendants and so on, and they would expand upon this. There's not a whole lot to visit inside because I'm not even quite finished making the interior, but I'm still going with the logic that most likely the first house was probably this one, and the
Yeah.
one at the very top, and over time they kept expanding as the family grew with with an extension here, and then that extension was to that
Goofed out.
extension was added another house, and then another house, and
And a tower, because
And-
nothing tops a tower.
Indeed.
Of course.
But
so
it's
what
this,
I like about this build here is mainly the way that you're considering the ground, the area around you, with the build itself. So you've got these different levels, and it's a very difficult slope to work on. So if you would just have one level, it would be pretty hard to do something. So instead of doing that, embracing the fact that you have this slope and kind of just have different levels, I think is a really cool idea.
Mhm. But when I make houses, I do try to make if I make a house that looks like it has lived, and that's why I chose the bone blocks, by the way, instead of the white wool. The bone blocks shows greater age.
I
and
like
if-
the beigeness to it. Yes, definitely.
And if
the moment you said
There's
that,
some perspectives you might
kind of
not
got
see,
jealous.
but the roofs are also kind of caved inwards. There's kind of a slope,
Yeah.
and that shows like the weather of age, where the weight of the roof brings it down, where the support structures are weaker. And
So
that's
I do see that quite often, but I have to say that I don't really see that like done properly often. And I think in this case it's done quite well, as it's not like too much of a slope. Sometimes you've got these
Oh.
really accentuated.
yeah. Well, sometimes
with
if
slopes in
you
there?
if you pay, it becomes very cartoony. But which
Yeah.
can work for if you were making a fairy tale type build.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's very appropriate. But here we're not working in a fairy tale setting.
And also, just quickly in between, what I really like about this area is that you just have a little bit of the grass going on and a little bit of the flowers and stuff like that. Like most of it was already there.
Yeah.
But preserving that or redoing that really makes things pop a lot. Like, for example, that one piece of tall grass right there.
Yeah.
It kind of finishes things.
Yeah, I did not bone meal anything, even though now bone meal is finally cheap on the server. I still have my initial first day things. So basically, every blade of grass that is here is the original blade of grass, the original flower, and so on. Because I try to preserve the environment I'm building in as much as I can.
Yeah.
Even if I'm digging a basement for a house. Like other than the basement, everything else I try to preserve as much as possible, because that's what that's why I chose the plot for the area that was there.
Yeah. So, for example, I really do like that you've got this tree like right next to the pathway.
Yeah.
It just
That-
makes things
That's where it was.
finish.
That's where
Yeah.
the tree grew. There's another
That's
tree
very
that
true.
is, sometimes it's like in real life. The other tree on the other side, some people would have been tempted to chop it down, because this one is almost in the way.
Nah,
You actually have to walk around it a little bit, but you can. It's almost in the way, and it's really close to the house as well. Normally, if I had not been limited, I would have brought this house. It would have been brought forward, but there was no room because of the tree. So
So, what I wonder though, like in terms of your gardens.
Yes.
So what I was thinking, because this is kind of like the three brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of those three brothers kind of outlived the other two. I mean, he doesn't hate the other two, but he has his own things and likes his own things. So maybe you want to have one part where the gardens are kind of shared, and another part where.
Well, technically speaking, there are 3 entrances to the house.
Yeah.
There's the entrance through to the tower that we've taken. There's the entrance over here, of course, which is technically speaking the front door or the oldest brother's entrance. But there's also the other entrance that leads to this path.
Right.
So when it will come to doing the garden around here, and when I was mentioning, when we were at Explorer D's, and she had her like cobbled pathway all the way down to the sea, some similar things are going to have to be done here in the sense that each door will need its own little path to the main path. One of them already has it. It's right there.
Yeah.
But the other 2 will need their own, so that the idea will be to first work on creating the little path, and then based on the areas surrounding the little path, what type of little gardens will they have? Will they have? Will one have will one just have a little terrace with the fire pit? Will you know what will they be doing? What will they have? What will there be? Will there be a vineyard? What will there be? You know, who knows?
Yeah.
But that's the things that will be coming up.
Yeah, coming up very, very soon, I think. That's the thing with the server as well, is that like one day on the server is a lot. Like so many things just change.
Yeah, things change.
Basis.
Yeah, very quickly. It's quite surprising. It's quite startling.
Yes,
in fact,
like yeah. I mean, the first episode that I made, I think was a week or 2 ago. And I mean, look at the place now. It's kind of like we're filled. I mean, we don't have any plots left, pretty much. We have to expand again.
So if you're on the server and you enjoy ancient type buildings, you might want to consider coming around and asking if there's room for you, and I'm sure there's room for more.
There is plenty room, but we will probably have to expand once again. So, I mean, for example, that area over there, what you're looking at, it's plenty space. We tend to space things out quite a bit to make sure we've got space for some greenery. But oh,
that was close.
That was so. You've been practicing, haven't you? It seems. Yeah, I'm not really much of a PvP type of guy, so I tend to be building, even though I'm not really great at it.
Yeah. Hey, Minecraft, we can do whatever we want.
Exactly. Yeah.
But game. I was going to conclude this episode, and this is the 700 episode.
We are kind of out of time, but yes.
Yeah. So thank you for watching.
Yeah, and I think you should check out Fluz's channel. His channel will be in the video description below, as well as the channel from Vintage Beef, which makes this server possible. Yeah, I mean...
and make sure you visit Extreme Dummy. Because there's some stuff happening.
Bad idea.
Oh, bad idea. Bad idea.
Yeah, terrible.
Okay. Okay. Well, do avoid Extreme Dummy at all costs.
Yes.
Especially if you like Life is Strange, make sure you avoid Extreme Dummy entirely.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. It's very strange. So, thank you guys for watching. See you next time.